Leaving your dog alone is tough. While you head out for work, errands, or a night out, your pooch experiences real anxiety, feeling unsure if or when you'll return. Many dog owners try to ease their dog's loneliness, only to make things worse without realizing it. In this video, we'll go over 12 common mistakes people make when leaving their dogs alone and show you what to do instead. By the end of this video, you'll know how to leave in the right way and smooth their anxiety. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to join our community of dedicated dog lovers. Number 12. Some people are morning people. Most people aren't. For people who find mornings a chore, it can be tempting to leave everything to the last possible moment. Just set everything up the night before, sleep for as long as you can manage, drag yourself out of bed, grab a coffee, grab a snack, wave goodbye to the dog, and rush out the door to catch your bus. But is that really what's best for your dog? To help your dog feel better about being left all on their lonesome, it might be a good idea to sacrifice those extra few seconds of sleep. The things we do for our fur babies, right? Getting up that bit earlier can allow you to take your pup for a nice long walk before you go out for the day. Yes, you might be a bit more sleepy throughout the day, but crucially, so will your dog. If you make the effort to help tire your fur baby out before you leave, they'll hopefully be able to spend the bulk of the day sleeping, and then wake up when you get home again. If they're asleep, they can't miss you. Number 11. Leaving your dog alone, especially for the first few times, will always be difficult. You set them up with their food and their toys. You check and double check that the water dish is filled. You give them some pets before you leave, and then right after you rush out the door, you give in to the urge and rush back inside to give them one last pet for luck. After all, how could you resist that little face peering out from out the window? How can you risk letting them think, even for a moment, that you going away means that you don't love them? But although it might feel like you need to do everything you can to reassure your pup before you leave them, making a big deal out of the moments before you walk out the door might be doing your fur baby more harm than good in the long run. Remember, it's likely that your dog makes their decisions about how they're going to react to certain situations based on how you react to them. You're the big wise human after all. If you think things are fine, then they probably are. This can be a problem, however, when it comes to leaving your dog for the day. You making a big fuss of your dog right before you leave might feel like the best way to show them that you care, but the message that your dog is receiving from this behavior is, this is a big deal. The human is acting like it's a big deal. Action stations. Panic time. If you want your dog to feel like being left alone isn't a big deal, you need to behave from the start like it isn't a big deal. A low-key goodbye is better for your dog, even if it might seem a little cold from your perspective. Number 10. Equally, as tempting as it might feel, don't make too big of a deal of your homecoming. This is likely to be pretty hard because your pup is probably going to make a big deal. Even if you've been leaving them alone and then coming back every day for years, a lot of dogs will insist on reacting like they haven't seen you for over a decade. You don't have to rebuff their affections, although you might want to try and get them to tone it down a bit when it comes to jumping up and down and trying to wash your face, unless you like having a face covered in dog saliva and dirty paw prints all over your work clothes. But you should avoid rewarding it too much. When you come in, the aim should be to get your dog to calm down, settle in a bit, and then give them all the pets that you want to give them. Otherwise, you risk rewarding them for their overexcited reaction, which prompts them to continue working themselves up whenever you leave. Number 9. Separation anxiety can cause your dog to do more than just feel a bit nervous. Some dogs, in an attempt to soothe themselves, may start to act out when left alone. Soiling in the house, for example, is a common reaction for dogs who have separation anxiety. Peeing and pooping in the house help spread their scent around, satisfying their instinct to mark their territory and making them feel better about being alone. If your dog is being left alone for more than a few hours, of course, then they're going to need toilet breaks regardless of how comfortable they are. If you need to leave your dog for a long time, and notice that they're either soiling in the house or seeming extra desperate for their toilet break when they get home, then you might need to consider booking a dog walker or getting a friend to pop in halfway through the day to let them go out. Other dogs might try working off their anxious energy by chewing on things. If you're lucky, it'll be their chew toys. If you're unlucky, it'll be your furnishings. However your dog expresses their separation anxiety, the important thing is not to scold them for it. It's important to remember that your dog won't understand why they're in trouble unless they're caught in the act. So telling them off when you get home for something they did during the day isn't going to have much of an effect, except to make your dog feel confused and upset. If this happens when you come home at the end of the day, then eventually your dog is going to start associating you coming home with those anxious and upset feelings. This will not only affect your bond with them, but will also make them feel more stressed in general on the days that you have to leave them alone. Number 8. Nobody likes to come home to a cluttered house, and you might want to try and avoid tripping over things when you come home tired at the end of the day by taking the time to tidy up your house the night before. But spare some thought for the one who's going to be stuck in that house while you're away. In order for your dog to entertain themselves for the day, they need to have some things to entertain themselves with. Tidying up the toys makes things easier for you, but means that your pup has fewer things to keep them engaged and distracted while you're away. Try spreading them out instead, so as to give your pup the maximum amount of mental stimulation. Aside from spreading out their toys, try adding some variety with interactive puzzle toys. Treat dispensing toys can work wonders, keeping your dog engaged as they work to get to the goodies inside. Rotate toys each day to keep things fresh and exciting, or hide a few treats in different places around the house for your pup to sniff out. If your dog enjoys chewing, safe chew toys or bones can also help relieve boredom and provide comfort while they're alone. Number 7. Where does your dog go when you leave them alone in the house? Maybe they have a crate that they can nap in if you're only leaving them for a shorter amount of time. But even if you haven't chosen to crate train your pup, you should try to provide them with some space to call their own. Setting up a den, whether that's a crate, a corner of the room, or even a cardboard box with a blanket inside, is a nice way to ensure that your dog has somewhere safe to retreat to when they're feeling anxious or overwhelmed. If your pup is left without a place to hide, they might be more likely to engage in some of that damaging, stress-releasing behavior. Remember, just because your dog has a place in the house doesn't mean that you have to confine them to that spot. If you prefer to let them freely roam around the house, then you can still allow them to do that. A den just means that once they're tired of roaming, they have a nice place to come back to for a nap. Number 6. One of the things that it's easy to forget when you're leaving for work in the morning is the curtains. Like most people, you probably have your curtains closed when you're asleep to keep your room dark. When you wake up, especially on those winter mornings when it might still be dark outside, it can be easy to forget to swing them open again. But if you're leaving your pup in the house alone, it's a good idea to remember to open those curtains up. An open window can be a great chance for your dog to get some mental stimulation. If you live next to a street, your dog can watch people passing by. If you live in a more rural area, however, then your pooch will enjoy sitting in the windowsill and keeping an eye out for passing birds and rabbits, especially if they're a breed that would traditionally have been used for hunting. The open curtains also allow your dog to have a bit more light in the house. Our fur babies are generally better at seeing in dim light than we are, but that doesn't mean that they don't want some natural lighting now and then, especially on summer days when there's nothing more relaxing for a sleeping dog than taking a lovely nap in a warm patch of sunlight. Number 5. If you're still worried about your pup getting bored while they're home alone, then you might consider leaving the TV or radio on for them while you're out, so that they can have the benefit of human voices to listen to while you're away. Well, this isn't actually a bad idea, but it's something that needs to be handled carefully. Switching the radio or TV onto a random channel and then leaving might sound like a good idea, but it can backfire if that nice chat show or classical music program later turns into something louder and more scary, perhaps with a thunderstorm or gunshot sound effects. These could scare your dog, and since you wouldn't be there, you'd have no way to comfort them, and most likely, no way of figuring out what scared them in the first place. If you're planning to leave your pup alone with the radio or TV, it can be a good idea to queue up some kind of playlist or put on a nice DVD before you go, so that you know exactly what your dog will be watching or listening to. Equally, it can be a good idea to try and figure out what sounds bother your dog and try to make it so that they don't have to deal with them while you're out. If there's some appliance, for example, that they seem to hate the sound of, maybe consider switching it off until you come back again. Number 4. One of the worst things you can do when leaving your dog alone is not take the appropriate preparations. Your fur baby won't enjoy it if you go straight from spending all your time together to leaving them alone for hours at a time without any midpoint. If you want to start leaving your puppy alone on a regular basis, you need to start small. Give your dog some signal like saying, "I'll be back," Terminator voice optional, and then turn to leave the room. Once you've put a closed door between the two of you for about 5 minutes, come back in and reward the dog with a treat. Keep doing this, extending the amount of time you leave each time, and then start leaving the house entirely. It's a good idea to build up to leaving them for the length of a full workday over the course of several days, or maybe even a week or so. Doing things gradually, your dog is able to get used to the idea that no matter how long you leave them for, you will always come back again eventually. Using a verbal signal can help them make this association in their minds that bit faster. Number 3. What time do you come home? Do you have a regular time? Dogs are surprisingly good at keeping track of time, despite the fact that you'll almost never see one wearing a watch. If you come home at the same time every day, then your dog will derive a significant sense of safety and security from that regular routine. They will know that they don't need to worry about whether you're coming home or not until that special time of day. If that time comes and goes without you returning, however, then they may become anxious. If you don't have a specific time of day at which you'll always return, then your pup will never know whether you're coming or not. They'll be constantly waiting for you to come through the door and assuming that every pair of feet that they hear walking along the sidewalk outside is you coming home to see them. Obviously, life gets in the way sometimes, and it can be difficult to manage to come home at the same time every day. But attempting to get home at roughly the same time as often as possible makes the experience of being left home alone a lot easier for your dog to handle. Number 2. Nobody wants to think of their fur baby going hungry while they're home alone, but leaving them alone with a big bowl of food, although it might seem like the obvious solution, can lead to overeating. Your dog has evolved for what's known as a feast or famine lifestyle. Their wolf ancestors wouldn't have been able to guarantee getting a meal every day, but whenever they made a large kill, they would have suddenly experienced a massive influx of food. Wolves don't have access to fridge freezers, so the only thing they would have been able to do is eat as much as they can when they could, before it all started going bad. Our pampered domestic pooches can, nowadays, expect a proper meal every day. However, old instincts die hard, and if you leave your dog with a large amount of food meant to last them the whole day, they're not going to do the sensible thing and ration it out into 3 meals over the course of the day. Instead, they'll be more likely to stuff it all down as quickly as possible, even if it makes them feel sick afterwards. Not only is being left with a large amount of food not great for your pup's health, but it's also not a good way to keep them entertained. It's far better to give them smaller amounts of food that are harder for them to access, so that their interest can be held for longer. Why not try hiding treats for them around the house? Or putting some food inside a puzzle feeder so that they have to work hard to get it out again? Number 1. When you start training your dog to get them used to being left alone, you might get some people telling you to ignore them when they start freaking out about being left alone in the house. Let them cry it out, these people say. They'll get over it in time. You might even be told that if you rush back in to comfort your dog when you hear them barking and whining for you, you're rewarding their anxiety and making it worse. In fact, however, leaving them alone while they're crying for you is likely to only make them more and more panicked. They won't understand why you're not coming back to them and might decide that they have to get louder in order for you to hear them. Instead, head back inside and let them know that you're there. Don't go overboard with comforting them, but show them some affection and let them know that you've come back and everything's all right. Then, once they've calmed down a bit, try again. Maybe providing them with a toy or a treat to keep their mouth occupied so they're less likely to try crying for you again. The aim isn't to force them to suppress their anxiety. It's to teach them that they don't need to be anxious in the first place. Even after you make the effort to ensure that you're leaving your fur baby in the best possible position before you go to work for the day, it can still be hard to tell whether they're actually happy or not. Creating a positive association with your departures can work wonders. Give them a favorite toy, a puzzle feeder, or a treat-filled Kong just before you leave, so they're preoccupied, and view alone time as a rewarding experience. Make sure your dog gets plenty of exercise beforehand. A tired dog is more likely to feel relaxed and sleep while you're gone. Additionally, setting up a calm, comforting space like a cozy bed or crate can provide them with a safe retreat, making the time alone a bit easier. Leaving your pooch at home can be heartbreaking. Those pleading, "Don't leave me," puppy dog eyes make you want to grab their leash and take them with you. But no matter how much we might want to, taking our dogs with us everywhere isn't possible. It could be dangerous or boring for them, or maybe we're heading somewhere that doesn't welcome canine guests. In these cases, it's always safest to leave our dogs at home. So, what really goes through your dog's mind when you leave them alone? Will leaving them for a few hours more than usual damage their trust in you? Do they notice you're gone and miss you as much as you miss them? What do they even do all day when you're not there to keep them company? Stay tuned to find out. Before we start, take a moment to subscribe and join our canine-loving community. Why did you leave? If given the choice, your dog would follow you everywhere. Your bathroom doorway while you do your business is one thing, but the local supermarket or your workplace is another. When you have to leave them behind, you're bound to be met with a wide-eyed look of betrayal. What did they do to make you leave? Are you mad at them? What do they mean? No pets allowed. Unfortunately, there's no way to explain why we have to leave. The treats we buy with our hard-earned paycheck might soften the blow a little, but our dogs would rather we stay home forever. After all, who's going to give them belly rubs on demand? Who will they give their favorite ball to for the high honor of throwing it again? I miss you. Dogs don't feel emotions the same way we do, but they still miss you when you're not there. Although they can adjust to the routine of you leaving, they don't understand why you can't take them too. Even if they know we'll return eventually, if we're not there at that moment, dogs will pine for the sound of the car pulling up on the drive or the key turning in the lock. The longer you're away, the more your dog misses you. They might have a very limited sense of time, but they still know it's been a while since they last saw you. What about ear scratches? It feels like it's been years since their last belly rub. What if you're not back in time to feed them? What do they do then? Can I come too? As soon as your shoes are on, your fur baby is by the door waiting for their leash to be clipped on. No matter where you're going, your dog is always pining for another adventure. So many smells to sniff, and people to meet, and... Wait, what do you mean they can't come? Who's going to protect you? There are nasty monsters out there like those smelly buses or the neighbor's cat. You might be tempted to stop and pet them without your dog there to remind Kitty who's boss. What about all the fun they're going to miss out on? You might try to explain that your stuffy office is boring for you, let alone them, but they'll still stare at you with those devastated eyes. Why can't they come too? When you're away, the dogs will play. You know your dog misses you while you're gone, but do you know what they get up to when you're not around? Is it safe to leave them alone? Or will they get into trouble by ripping apart the couch? Most of us just hope our dogs don't sit by the door for hours until we return home. What your dog gets up to while you're away depends on how old they are, how comfortable they are being alone, and whether they have enough toys and fun activities to keep them active. Older dogs who are used to your routine of going to work every day are likely to settle down for a nap until you get home. They might not enjoy being alone, but they know you and your routine. They're happy to dream the day away until you come back. A new puppy will be more active. They don't know you, your house, or any of the strange habits you have. You need to be around more often for your puppy to make sure all their needs are met. All they know is they need to pee. They don't see the carpet as brand new and expensive, it's just soft and the perfect spot to relieve themselves. As for that fancy coffee table, they didn't want to destroy it. They just wanted their teeth to stop hurting. You're leaving? For how long? If you have a regular 9 to 5 and can't make it home for a quick lunch break, your dog will likely be alone for anywhere between 8 to 9 hours a day. Is this okay? How long is too long for your dog? The answer depends on your dog and how familiar they are with the routine of being alone. A younger puppy with less bladder and impulse control shouldn't be left alone for more than 2 to 3 hours at a time. Not only will they make a mess of your floor, but being alone for so long in such a big empty house with so many new smells can be traumatic for them. If you've only just started leaving your dog home alone, you should build up to longer absences. This will give your dog time to adjust to you leaving and learn that no matter how long you're gone, you'll be back before they know it. For older dogs, being left alone for 8 to 9 hours a day is fine. They'll love to see you at lunchtime, but they'll also be okay waiting for you to return. Leave them plenty of toys to keep them occupied and make sure they have plenty of space to explore. Even the most mischievous hounds will barely notice the time flying by. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Dogs have an uncanny ability to wake you up in time for work, or just their breakfast, and meet you at the door with the leash whenever the clock hits their usual walkies time. You might think they have excellent timekeeping skills, but they're just very good at learning your routine and picking up on scents and sounds throughout the day. In the morning, they know they're hungry and learn to recognize how your breathing changes as you wake up. When you leave for work, they know you always grab that same pair of shoes, or the sound of the car keys jingling tips them off. When you return home, they know you're back by the sound of the car engine, or just the way you walk up the drive. You might not think the way you unlock your front door is anything interesting, but for your waiting pooch, your return is the highlight of their day. They wouldn't miss out on the chance to greet their favorite human. It's scary alone. As sociable as they are, dogs dislike being alone. While some manage for a while, others are far more sensitive to losing sight of you. Even leaving the room can be a cause for concern. If they can't see you, how do they know everything's okay? Separation anxiety is one of the biggest causes of destructive behavior in dogs. If your dog isn't used to being alone to trust that you'll come back, they'll work themselves into a panic and search for ways to alleviate their anxiety. Unfortunately, all the furniture in the house is perfect for your puppy to sink their teeth into. You can counteract this by gradually increasing the time you spend away from your dog and making your absence part of your usual routine. As your dog gets used to you leaving, they'll also know you'll be back soon. Can I eat this? Whether your dog is used to being alone or they're new to your schedule, at some point you've likely returned home to ruined furniture. This can be devastating, especially for your wallet when you need to replace everything. Dogs need to stay active, both physically and mentally, to flourish under our care. When they're with you, they're focused on being the best they can be. Anything to put a smile on your face. Alone, there's far less for them to do and far more chances to get into mischief. What are they supposed to do when a car backfires or a storm breaks overhead? There's no one there to reassure them. Always leave your dog plenty of things to do and a safe spot to curl up away from the noise, especially if you're away all day. While some calmer dogs are happy to take a nap, many are too active to sit still. They need a friend to play with and tasty chew toys to gnaw on, or puzzles with treats to keep them occupied. Not only will giving them something to do keep their attention off the yummy-looking coffee table, but concentrating on that puzzle toy will wear them out enough that they'll nap until you come home. Did you know your dog has their own way of telling you they're lonely? There are 7 signs they use to show they need more of your love and attention. Let's explore them together and see if your furry friend is trying to tell you something. Number 1. Stuck on you. Some dogs follow you everywhere. They'll tail you to the bathroom or just around the house as you do your chores. These dogs are known as Velcro dogs. They're as sticky as Velcro. For some breeds, this is completely normal behavior. It's not always a sign of a bad thing either. If they're confident on their own too, they just like to spend time with you. But clinginess can be a sign of loneliness, especially if your dog is usually happy to keep to themselves. They might be trying to seek affection from you by staying close. This is even more likely if you give them more attention when they follow you around. After all, how do you resist those puppy dog eyes when they're always by your side? Be careful here though. Clinginess isn't just a sign of loneliness. Your dog might be terrified of being alone altogether. They might have separation anxiety because they feel lonely and know the bad feelings go away when they're with you. Make sure you teach them to be confident when they're on their own by rewarding them when they sit by themselves too. Number 2. Gotta chew. Chewing everything might be an odd habit, but it's completely normal for dogs. It's an instinctive way to keep their jaws strong and clean their teeth. But they also find it fun. They enjoy chewing so much, they'll do it when they feel stressed or anxious too. It helps them feel better and calms them down. When they're feeling very anxious, they don't always limit their chewing to their toys. Loneliness is a common cause of destructive chewing. They're pack animals, and they feel uncertain when they don't get enough social interaction. They'll chew on the couch cushions or your coffee table. They might even chew holes in your favorite shirt they found in the laundry. It smells like you and they want it to feel close to you. Your dog might have learned that chewing your furniture gets your attention too. It's easy to believe your dog was naughty and scold them for destructive chewing, especially in the heat of the moment. The problem is, even negative attention can be rewarding to your lonely puppy. They don't like being in trouble, but at least they know you're paying attention. Sudden destructive behavior is always a sign that something's wrong. If your puppy only chews everything when you're away, consider adopting another dog to keep them company, or ask a friend or pet sitter to stop by your home while you're at work. Number 3. Grooming their way out of boredom. You might not notice this sign immediately, but the state of your dog's fur says a lot about their mental and physical health. A healthy, happy dog will have smooth, shiny, and well-tended fur, while unhappy or sick dogs are more likely to look unkempt. They might have sore spots, damaged fur, or patches of hair loss. Their fur could even change texture. Where it was once soft and sleek, it might instead become coarse, brittle, and very dry. Loneliness doesn't just make your dog destructive around your furniture. They can turn their worries onto themselves too. Lonely dogs are prone to over-grooming or scratching themselves. While they aren't quite as obsessively clean as cats, they do scratch an itch now and then or wash their feet. That's normal. However, sometimes they can take their grooming habit to extremes. This is when their fur can start looking dull or patchy, particularly if they have a habit of pulling their fur out whenever they're distressed. Spending more quality time with your dog, like taking walks or playing together to keep them active, and maybe a few extra special grooming sessions will help give them the attention they need. Over-grooming can also be a sign of other medical conditions, like skin infections, pain, nausea, or allergies. Make sure you rule out medical causes while you're considering whether your dog is lonely. Number 4. Licking their way into your lap. Dogs don't just lick themselves when they feel lonely though. They'll lick you too. You might not think much of it if your pooch already has a habit of licking you, but if your dog's never licked you before, you might be a little bemused. With their weird habits and dopey, doggy grin, your puppy might not act like a four-legged Einstein, but they're still smart. They know how to solve puzzles and even enjoy the challenge. Okay, their solutions aren't always the ones you would prefer, but the result is the same. The biggest puzzle your lonely puppy faces is how to get your attention. They know licking you gets them an ear scratch every time. They might do it to taste the salt on your skin, but that head pat is rewarding to them. The more you give them attention when they lick you, the more they'll associate the action with your affection. It becomes their go-to move whenever they feel lonely and in need of love. Even dogs that don't lick you that often might resort to the behavior if they feel lonely enough. They don't care if you're a little confused when you pet them. That ear rub still feels delightful, and they might just fall asleep on your lap. Number 5. Hello? Can you hear me? Like destructive behavior, howling or barking is frequently misunderstood as bad behavior. Where your neighbors are concerned, it's the most annoying habit your dog has. Let's face it, sometimes you think your dog's barking is just too loud sometimes. But they're not making noise for the sake of it. It could be their way of telling you they're feeling lonely. You might be accidentally reinforcing their howling, even if you think you're teaching them not to bark. If your dog makes noise because they're lonely, responding to them teaches them that barking or howling gets your attention. It's similar to how they lick you because they know it gets them an ear rub, or chewing the furniture because it gets a reaction out of you. They don't know their barking is annoying. It's just an instinctive way for them to relieve some tension. Bonus points if it helps them get your attention too. Next time they want your attention, they'll make even more noise. Excessive howling can be difficult to solve, and you'll need to have very careful timing. Wait for those quiet breaks between barks or howls, and then reward your dog with attention or a treat. Spending time with them when they're quiet shows them they don't need to make noise for you to love them. Number 6. Sleeping the day away. Not all of the signs of loneliness are as obvious as howling. Sometimes your dog just gets very quiet and sleeps more often. Sometimes this is completely normal. If you have an older dog, they'll sleep more than they did as a puppy. They just have less energy to spare for running around. But lethargy can also be a sign of depression. Dogs can feel depressed just like we do, and it's not always the easiest sign to notice. It can be just as difficult for them to get out of their sad mood too. They might feel confused or stressed about a sudden change in their routine. Loneliness is a big trigger for depression. Your dog can't talk through their worries like we can, so they internalize their negative emotions and deal with them the best way they can think of. Sleeping lets them escape their bad feelings for a while. Their focus on sleeping has another downside. They often lose interest in other important things too, like food and playtime. It's not easy to bring your dog out of their depressed mood, but keep trying. An animal behaviorist will be able to help you determine how best to get your dog moving again. The more fun they have when they're awake, the happier they'll be. If they're depressed because they're lonely, time with you is the best remedy. Number 7. Oh boy, you can see me! Some dogs might not get lethargic when they're lonely at all. They might show their discontent in other ways instead. A puppy that gets overexcited whenever you give them attention might have felt so lonely they don't know how to contain themselves once they receive it. They might urinate, get the zoomies, or jump up more whenever you give them attention, or be restless when you're gone. Some excitable puppies even run to and from the door every time they hear a noise that might be you coming home. It's also super easy to accidentally reinforce this behavior by giving them attention whenever they're excited. After all, their excitement is cute, and you're happy to see them too. But try to resist the urge to greet your dog when they're overexcited. They might get hurt in their eagerness to greet you. Instead, wait for them to calm down before giving them a fuss. Remember to keep your own greeting calm and controlled too, so you don't get them worked up. As much as we would love to spend every second of our lives with our fluffy little friends, sometimes the universe tragically forces you to go to work. Ugh. And what's worse, not all jobs will let you take your puppy with you. What's a dog owner to do? The good news is that dogs can actually do okay being left alone for 4 to 6 hours at a time, as long as you do a few crucial things. In this video, we've gathered 11 best tips to help ensure that your dog doesn't miss you and actually has a happy time while you're out of the house. But before we dive in, why not subscribe and join our canine loving community for more tips and tricks on how to care for your dog? Tip number 1. Leave them a gift. Dogs are very scent-oriented creatures and identify their owners by smell rather than sight. You can use this to your advantage. If you have to leave your dog alone, you can try giving them something to sleep on or play with that as your smell. Some dogs will even steal clothes or small items that their owner handles regularly to try and solve this problem for themselves. Remember though, dogs chew when they're upset, so don't give them anything breakable or that you wouldn't want to get ruined. Tip number 2. Doggy entertainment. Your dog probably isn't that interested in the latest chart-topping hits, or in catching up on the newest episode of that murder mystery series you like. But that doesn't mean that they can't enjoy listening to the radio or watching TV. Leaving one of these on at a low volume can provide a soothing background noise of human voices to help your pup feel less alone. If you want to control what your dog is listening to, and make sure they don't accidentally end up watching or hearing something with scary thunderstorm or fireworks noises, you can find specially designed YouTube videos for dogs that you can play while they're home alone. You can also ring your dog and leave them a message on the answering machine. Although be warned, some dogs may be distressed by hearing your voice when they can't see or smell you. Tip number 3. Here's how to start. If you want to start leaving your dog alone, never do it cold turkey. If you just walk out the door and don't come back for 4 hours, when you walk in the door again, your dog, and potentially your home, is likely to be a wreck. Instead, start small. Begin by leaving your dog alone for 30 minutes a day, and then increase that time to an hour after a few days. Keep going until your dog is able to feel comfortable being left alone for multiple hours. Tip number 4. A safe place. Give your dog a safe place. Even if you let your dog have the run of the house while you're away, most pups will still appreciate having somewhere cozy to retreat to if the empty house gets too much. This space can be a kennel, a dog bed, or even a closet or small room. The important thing is that it's somewhere enclosed where your dog can feel safe. To help make it more cozy, try putting some soft things in there for your pup to sleep on, and maybe 1 or 2 of their favorite toys. Tip number 5. Morning workout. There are 2 reasons why our dogs might mess up the house while we're away. One is anxiety, which will get better over time. The other is boredom. Dogs chew things when they're bored and need to work off some energy, and that can be bad news for your soft furnishings. To help keep your dog from getting too bored while you're away, try taking them for an extra vigorous walk in the morning before you leave for the day. If you give them enough exercise before you go, they'll hopefully be all tuckered out for most of the day and will spend it snoozing in their den rather than getting into trouble. Tip number 6. Toys. Toys are a great way to keep your dog entertained while you're away, and they can also be used as a way to get your dog to feel more positive about their alone time. If you keep some special toys to be given to your dog only while you're out of the house, then when your dog sees you getting ready to leave, they're less likely to think, "Oh no, I'm going to be lonely all day," and more likely to think, "Oh yeah, I get to play with those cool toys." This works especially well if the alone time toys are ones that require a bit more mental effort from your dog. Puzzle feeders or toys that are filled with peanut butter can be a great way to ensure that your puppy has a fun day at home. Tip number 7. Be strong. The first time you leave your dog alone in the house can be difficult. You see that little face, those big eyes staring after you. They look so cute and sad. How can you resist going back for one last pet or to reassure them again that you'll be back soon? But don't. Being left alone is scary for your dog because they don't know what's going to happen. Dogs will often look to their humans to figure out how they should react to a situation. If the human is calm and unbothered, the dog is more likely to assume that things must be all right. If the human is noticeably freaking out, getting upset, and constantly returning to give them extra pets, however, your dog is likely to assume that things must be really serious and get more freaked out than they would otherwise. Tip number 8. Telling them off. When you come home after a hard day at work to find that your favorite vase has been destroyed, or your couch cushions have been ripped up, or there's pee on the rug, it can be tempting to scold your dog for their bad behavior, but you mustn't give in to this urge. Firstly, because your dog likely won't understand. Dogs don't connect events the way that we do. If you don't actually catch your dog in the act, they won't make the link between you getting mad and whatever they did. They'll just assume that you decided to tell them off randomly today. Secondly, Because if this happens too many times, then, even if your dog doesn't learn to associate their bad behavior with you telling them off, they might start to associate you coming home with them getting into trouble. This might result in your dog hiding from you or refusing to greet you when you come home, which you definitely don't want. If your dog seems to behave badly while you're out of the house, assume that it's caused by anxiety and try to work on combating the problem by increasing your dog's confidence when home alone, rather than telling them off or punishing them. Tip number 9. Prevent water accidents. Your dog can definitely last a few hours without water, but they won't enjoy it. Unfortunately, dogs are also sometimes very clumsy creatures, and even if you leave them with a full water bowl, there's a risk that they'll knock it over and spend the rest of the day with nothing to drink. To decrease your chances of coming home to a dehydrated dog, try leaving them 2 water bowls in different rooms. You should also try to buy proper dog water dishes instead of just using a bowl that was designed for humans, as these are designed to be harder for your playful pooch to accidentally tip over. Tip number 10. Prevent chewing accidents. Like we said earlier, dogs chew when they're anxious. It's a self-soothing behavior designed to calm them down. While you can make your dog less likely to chew by providing them with fun toys to distract them, you're never going to be able to stop them from chewing altogether. As such, it's a good idea to leave your dog with some extra chew toys while you're away. This way, not only will they be less tempted to start gnawing on your slippers, but their usual chew toys will also last longer. Tip number 11. Human company. Just because your dog can be left alone for 6 hours doesn't mean that they wouldn't appreciate some human company during the day. If you live near your office, try to pop home during your lunch break to play with your pup. If you can't make it, then consider hiring a dog walker or getting a friend or family member to check in.
In today's video, we dive into 10 things your dog wishes you knew. From their timekeeping skills to their jealous streak to their scientific pooping. Get ready to see the world through your dog's eyes, and nose and ears. Before we start, hit the subscribe button to join our dog-loving community and ring the bell to keep up with our new videos. Number 1. Color-coded fun. You probably already know your dog's eyesight is different from yours. On the one hand, it's better. They can see really well in the dark. But on the other hand, it's a little worse. Most humans can see a full spectrum of colors, including vibrant reds and greens. But sadly, our fur babies are blind to these colors. So if you've ever wondered why your pup isn't super interested in that red ball you just tossed, it could be because they can't see it clearly against the green grass. But does that mean your little champ lives in a world of dull grays and browns? Definitely not. Your dog would love you to know that for them, colors like yellow and blue absolutely pop. So the next time you play fetch with Fido, grab a yellow frisbee or a blue ball. These colors will really brighten your dog's day. Number 2. Hear me out. Dogs might not mind a little soft rock or reggae playing in the background. In fact, studies have shown they actually enjoy it. But crank up the volume too far and you could give them an auditory overload. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to sound, which means loud noises that we can tolerate easily can quickly overwhelm our pups. But even if you keep the radio or TV low, your house might still be a stress fest for your dog. Your dog wants you to know that with their super hearing abilities, it's not just about volume. While humans can hear frequencies up to 20,000 Hz, like the faint buzz of an old TV, a dog's hearing is next level. They can pick up frequencies 3 times as high. This means many household items that seem silent to us, like ultrasonic pest repellents, laptop fans, or even some LED lights, might actually be screaming in your dog's ear. If your pup seems unsettled at home or barks when there's nothing there, try removing or reducing these high-frequency appliances. Your fur baby will thank you for the more relaxed vibe. Number 3. It's getting hot in here. Did you know your furry bestie is a little hot potato? It's true. Their natural body temperature runs a few degrees hotter than ours. While this can be a blessing during a cold winter, it's something pet parents need to be mindful of in the summer months. On these hot days, your pup can also struggle to cool themselves down. Unlike us, dogs don't sweat. They do release a small amount of heat from the pads of their paws, but the main way they cool themselves down is by panting. Unfortunately, this is not super effective, so prolonged exposure to hot temperatures can lead to heat exhaustion or worse. So on those sizzling hot days, your pup will appreciate walkies during the cooler hours of the morning or evening. And if you need to pop into the shop for a little snack, it's best to leave your little buddy at home rather than in the car. Even in mild temperatures, cars can heat up very quickly, and your dog can be in serious danger within a matter of minutes. Number 4. Not a sweet tooth. While we might love to wrap up our meal with something sweet, dogs want us to know that they don't share our sweet tooth. In fact, most things that taste sweet to us taste bitter to them. And while they may drool at the sight of chocolate, it's a big no-no for dogs. Chocolate contains theobromine, a substance that's toxic to dogs. Even candies are dangerous, especially those with xylitol, an artificial sweetener that can cause low blood sugar, liver damage, and in some cases, even death. Your dog trusts you to only feed them safe food, so if you're sneaking them a table scrap, make sure it's dog-friendly. A little plain chicken? Sure, but avoid onions or other hidden nasties that might harm them. And as for dessert, that's one course your dog should definitely skip. Number 5. Pee mail. We all know that dogs need exercise, some more than others, depending on the breed. But taking your pooch for a walk isn't just about getting their little legs moving. They would love you to know it's also about exercising their mind and increasing their community engagement. While it might be just a footpath to you, your pup is walking down an information superhighway. Remember, your dog's sense of smell is up to 100,000 times stronger than yours, so every tree and every blade of grass is full of information. For your dog, sniffing is like scrolling through new posts on their social media feed. So, the next time you're on a walk, slow down and let your pup sniff around. Give them time to catch up on the local gossip and even send a few pee mails of their own. Number 6. Talking tails. Your pup might only be as smart as your average 2-year-old, but that doesn't mean they don't communicate with nuance. And a dog's tail can speak volumes. Studies have shown that dogs wag their tails differently depending on their feelings. If your pup spots their best buddy in the park, their tail might wag low and to the right. But if your pup has some bad history with an approaching dog, or the dog is unknown, their tail might wag higher and to the left. This interaction still stimulates them, but they want you to know they feel anxious. As a pup parent, honing in on your dog's tail talk can ensure you give them the support they need. You can gently remove them from the situation when they feel nervous. And when they're super excited and happy, you can let them run, play, and zoomy. Number 7. Green streak. Here's a little secret your dog really wants you to know. You belong to them. Oh yes, every time you bend down to pat that other little furball or make cooing noises at the neighbor's cat, it's enough to make your pup go green. If your dog tries squeezing out the intruder or licking you to win back your attention, you've probably had your suspicions for a while. And science agrees. A study from the University of California in San Diego has confirmed that our fur babies absolutely get jealous. So if you do get caught fawning over another cutie, remember to shower your pup with extra love and affection to remind them they'll always be your number one. Number 8. The right paw. The next time you ask your pup for a high five, pay close attention. Do they use their left or right paw? When chewing on a toy, which paw do they use to hold it steady? Like humans, most dogs, about 74%, have a dominant paw. It's called pawedness. But unlike humans, who are about 90% right-handed, dogs are pretty evenly split between lefties and righties. So give your pup the best chance of nailing that handshake by starting with their dominant paw. It will really boost their confidence. Number 9. Dogbert Einstein. Did you ever wonder why it takes your dog so long to find the perfect poop spot? They sniff around and turn a few circles before finally squatting to do their business. Well, the answer might surprise you. Your dog is practically a scientist. A study published in Frontiers in Zoology found that your pup's little poop protocol is not random at all. Rather, it has to do with your dog's sensitivity to the Earth's magnetic field. According to the study, dogs prefer to poop with their body aligned along the Earth's north-south axis. How impressive is that? So next time you're impatiently waiting for your pooch to find the right spot, they'd love you to let them take an extra second or two to activate their internal compass. Number 10. TikTok. Does your pup know you leave for work at 7 a.m. and return at 6 p.m. every Monday to Friday? Well, yes and no. While they can't read a clock like we do, they can definitely tell the difference between 11 hours and 11 minutes, especially when it's how long you've been away. Your dog uses their circadian rhythm, their wake-sleep cycle, to map out the routines of the day. For example, they know they'll get breakfast and then walkies as soon as they wake up. They can even anticipate your departure if you usually leave the house after walkies. But it's not just about routines. Your pup can detect subtle changes in the air to understand how long you've been gone. If you've only been gone a few minutes, your scent will still be strong. But as the hours tick by, that scent fades. They know when it's been a long day without you. So if your pup suffers from separation anxiety, it could help to leave them a piece of your clothing. That will keep your scent in the air longer and make them feel like you haven't been gone too long. For more tips on how to keep your dog calm when they're home alone, watch this video.